The doorbell called him by name at 1:38 a.m. The doorbell is too proud of its brain. It recognizes couriers, labels neighbors, announces packages with the voice of a maitre d' who prefers cardboard to people. Most nights it sleeps. That night it woke my phone and said, with cheerful competence, "Max arrived." The clip auto-played. Our hallway in that bleached night color. Footsteps. Then her. Lila, shoulders hunched against the cold, hair loosed from its careful day shape. A man just behind her, not touching, his hands in his pockets the way decent men arrange them when they want credit for restraint. The doorbell framed his face with a polite rectangle and printed his name like a caption. Max. It was not guessing. She'd let it learn him. She turned the key with a quiet I recognized. He said something too soft for the microphone. Her laugh, too quick, too contained, ran down the hall and into the clip's ending. The door opened. The clip did not follow her inside. Some machines know when to fade to black. I watched it twice, which is a confession dressed as verification. The notification banner hung in the corner of my screen like a label on my life. I wasn't away, not really. I was at my brother, finishing a deck for a client who writes the word disrupt on slides without irony. I had fallen asleep on Liam's couch because my back hates ambition. Lila had texted at 10, running late, notes, love you. Love is a math problem people solve in different units. In the morning I made coffee and wrote her a question that wouldn't prosecute. How late? She replied. Too late. Don't be mad at the day. The app stored the clip in a folder called Familiar Faces. I wanted to rename the folder to Accidents and could not. When she came home that evening with groceries that believed they were care, the doorbell chirped hello again, humiliating in its enthusiasm. I was at the table pretending to read an email twice. She set the bags down, kissed my head the way you pat a dog for guarding the wrong room, and saw my phone still playing Max. Okay, she said. The word arrived steady, like a person who has chosen to stop sprinting. She didn't reach for the phone or the doorbell. She leaned against the counter as if it had asked to be leaned on. He's Max in the doorbell, I said. What is he in your head? Max in my head, she said, almost smiling at how insufficient that sounded. From color. We stayed late twice, and then one night I taught the doorbell his name because fumbling with keys at 2 in the morning makes me feel like a life I didn't audition for. She exhaled. I'm sorry. Do you love him? I asked. It's the ugliest clean question I know. I don't know, she said, immediate, which is the correct way to hurt a person you still intend to live with. I know I loved being looked at like I was finished for the day. I know I love you. I know the doorbell doesn't deserve to be the bravest part of this. The kitchen is good at hosting truths it didn't ask for. Steam from the kettle climbed into quiet. The plant on the sill turned toward whatever window looked honest. A month, I said. Pause, you at Maya's, me at Liam. Therapy with chairs that don't flatter. No rooms without windows. The doorbell learns only us. Sundays we meet under fluorescent lights and answer 2 questions we won't like. She nodded like someone finally agreeing with gravity. When did you want to run? She said. When did you want to stay? Yes, I said, those ones. We packed enough to make the bed inhale. She took the hoodie that shrinks her into a reason for hands. I took the plant because light is the only thing I trust to choose me back. At the door she reached up and steadied my face with her thumb and forefinger like aligning a picture. Can I? You can kiss me, I said, as fact not strategy. We kissed like people who have learned where to set weight. My hand found the warm strip above her waistband. Her breath did the private double at my ear that has made me forgive traffic and taxes and winter. We stopped because we told ourselves to. Pride is an erotic when it's honest. Liam's couch is a place men go to learn the difference between despair and fatigue. He handed me a blanket and a remote and practiced not asking. I slept like someone had been dimmed, not extinguished. At noon, my phone buzzed with a number that arrived polite. "This is Max. I'm not asking to be part of your life. I already stepped back from the cut. If you want to see a person and not a rectangle around a face, I'll be at the bench by the canal at 3. He was there early with a coat that made no promises and a gaze that had recently been taught humility. He didn't offer a hand. He arranged his own in his lap like he'd learned where they belong. "I'm stepping back," he said before I could decide what kind of man to be in front of him. "Not as theater." I told her I don't know how to be someone's exception without breaking their rule book. "Switch floors," I said. "Don't be geography." "I did," he said. "I'm grating detergent. It's pure. It wants what it wants." We sat long enough to let the cold correct our blood. "No cameo," he added, and for once the line didn't feel like a costume. I nodded. It wasn't forgiveness. It was relief refusing to perform. Therapy is a room allergic to Instagram. The chairs are aggressively mismatched. The rug has a stain like a peninsula. The window insists on honest light. The therapist asked us to try verbs that would survive noon. Lila said, "I wanted to be admired for existing, not for crossing things off." I said, "I wanted trust to be a bulk purchase." We did the small inventory too. Who texts first? Who buys basil and who keeps it alive? Who apologizes with words and who with dishes? In week 2, I met Myra because benches send for me when I start behaving. She was there counting dogs and their owners, a talent like reading tea leaves but less mystical. "Bad device?" she asked, as if the city had given her my file. "The doorbell knows a man I don't," I said. "They do," she said. "Doors are gossips. It's how they justify their hinges." We walked the loop without pretending to be significant. She told me about a husband who could speak tenderness fluently until meaning ran out. I told her about Max in a rectangle and about learning how to keep my hands out of a scene. At the corner where the streetlight forgives equally, we kissed once. Not a dare. A pulse. My hand found her shoulder with a permission that would be proud at breakfast. Her mouth learned my pace and declined to improve on it. We stopped while stopping still felt like skill. "Choose ordinary," she said, smiling like she'd just paid a bill. "It pays better than drama." On Sundays, Lila and I met under the harsh mercy of fluorescent bulbs and did our 2 questions. She wanted to run when a client typed "make it pop," and meant work until your bones agree they are decorations. She wanted to stay when she pictured us old and tyrannically gentle about which jar is for rice. I wanted to run when I walked past our building and felt the muscle memory of righteous knocking. I wanted to stay when I pictured her hand under my shirt in the kitchen for no reason, except that I was there and worth touching. The doorbell kept attempting helpfulness. "Familiar face detected," it offered, content to be a narc. I opened settings and deleted every profile until the list went blank like fresh snow. It prompted me to teach it. I taught it nothing. We added a post-it note to the inside of the fuse box. "If the house tries to narrate us, change the subject." On day 19, Lila sent a screenshot. Removed. Max, no caption. On day 22, I walked a longer route home and watched our building from the corner like a bad detective. The door opened for an old woman who carries groceries in a cart that looks like it has opinions. The bell did not say her name. Good. We do not owe recognition to everyone we survive. On day 30, Lila came home with one bag and a face that remembered where the plates live. We didn't do speeches. We set the kettle. The plant pivoted toward a square of light. The kitchen practiced being a house. "Rebuild," she said. "Rebuild," I said. "Slow, no monuments. We date each other in our own apartment like rent is due and luck is thin. We schedule boredom. We report temptation like weather. If a machine volunteers to know us, it learns only the names we say out loud to each other. We kiss like a handshake and like a key we still deserved. In the bedroom, we undress the way competent people tidy, with the future in mind. My mouth found the warm strip of skin at her waist. Her breath answered at my ear. We kept it day safe, honest, greedy in a way that doesn't invoice tomorrow. We stopped where we promised, proud in the quiet way that spends well. We wrote rules on an index card and taped it behind the doorbell chime like a superstition with teeth. No rooms without windows. No second names in first mouths. If a bill shows up for a night we didn't live, read it together. If fingers itch to perform, put them to work on onions. Cry for honest reasons or not at all. Max sent one more text, a receipt with no tip line. No cameo. I replied, none. Myra sent a photo of a bench at noon with the caption, choose ordinary, earn heat. I told her we were trying. She sent a heart that looked like it had already paid rent. We named the plant, not mercy, not forgive, threshold, because that's where most of our courage happens. Because light and footsteps and decisions all cross there, and if you keep your hand on the frame, you can feel the hinge work every time. The doorbell remains proud of nothing. It chimes for packages and weather. Last night, while the water bullied the pasta and the city tried to earn its own applause, Lila stepped behind me and slid her hands under my t-shirt, palms warm on my stomach with the authority of renewals. We swayed without music. The doorbell watched the hallway and decided not to say any names. This is the arrival I needed, she said into my neck. It's the only one I can promise forever, I said. We ate. We laughed at a nothing and upgraded it to something. Later, we brushed our teeth like colleagues with tenure. In bed, she turned toward me the way people do when a room knows them and intends to keep doing so. Outside, somebody's doorbell learned another face. Ours learned quiet. Inside, Threshold leaned toward a square of light and forgave us in the only way plants can, by choosing the same direction we chose and moving.